Put a little bit of the rub, nigga, I gotta be safe.
Let's get to sports talk.
Fun. You know what I'm talking about. Player X leaves Team Y, and maybe it's a free agent departure, and the team feels abandoned. Or maybe it's a trade, and the player feels betrayed. Usually, at least one side is a little bit angry, and the atmosphere is spicy, and all of a sudden you have grown men in the stands dressing up as giant cupcakes, you know, for example. Anyway, last night there was supposed to be a star-studded double revenge affair in Houston as the Thunder rolled into town. There was Chris Paul, who was traded off a championship contender to a rebuilding team barely a year after he signed a contract that was supposed to keep him with the Rockets until 2022. And there was Russell Westbrook, who, yes, parted amicably with OKC, but come on, details like that have never stopped Russ before. And when he showed up to last night's game, basically dressed as a pro wrestler, it certainly felt like it was on. Except, well, as the game unfolded, that feeling of basketball rage that can be so fun to watch wasn't really there. Instead, it turns out it was 1,400 miles away in New York City. Yeah, the Knicks hosted Chicago last night, and apparently Bobby Portis felt this was the time and place to take out some of his frustrations on the Bulls, who he'd said, quote, blindsided him by trading him this past February. Now, we need to be honest, this was not exactly a potboiler at the start. New York fell down by 18 after the first quarter. But, and here's a sentence I didn't picture myself saying today, Bobby Portis just flat out refused to let his team lose. Over and over. Seriously, he sparked the Knicks, often turning to give Bulls, you know, that bench one of those see what you're missing looks. And in the fourth quarter, he brought it all home. First, there was this three that tied the game. Then, with less than 2 minutes on the clock, watch this. Randall with the perfect pass, Portis getting Lauri Markkanen to fly by, and in Mike Breen's own words, bang! Just drilled it, and the crowd at the Garden went insane. Yeah, that's John McEnroe there. And yeah, Portis said he gave McEnroe a high five, even though he later admitted he didn't actually know who the tennis champ was. But hey, it didn't matter. Portis would go on to hit another three, allowing him to finish with 28 points, 11 rebounds, and an entire arena full of fans chanting his name. It was a perfect revenge game script. And maybe, in a way, it was better because it was so unexpected, especially compared to the hype that was going on, yes, halfway across the country in Houston. And I do want to note, eventually, there were some spicy moments between the Rockets and the Thunder. In the closing minutes, we got Russ barreling toward the basket, kicking it out to P.J. Tucker for a much-needed three. We got this stare down between James Harden and CP. Fans just free to imagine all the bad blood of this past summer between them. Harden loses the ball here. Chris ends up with it and makes a nice hockey assist to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Still, by the time the Rockets won the game, the whole thing felt very civilized. Russ even visited OKC's locker room afterward, high-fiving old friends, joking around with CP. You know, they say that revenge is a dish best served cold. But last night, it was a dish best served by surprise. So, guys, Portis, he was great. And RJ Barrett also had a terrific game. Big nights. This was New York's first win of the season. They're now 1-3. So, Shanae, is this providing some Knicks fans a little bit of hope?
It is providing hope. I think RJ Barrett, you know, sometimes you wonder how long will it take for them to really establish themselves. Based on his international experience, like he sort of was an early pro. And yeah, what did he have? 19?
Listen, like, when you see an old team, you want to hand them that loss. Because you feel like they just gave up on you. Like, of course, Bobby Portis had something to go out to Chicago for. Like, when somebody don't tell you they trade you, that's how the business work in the NBA. Like, they just trade you without you knowing. Like, they'll tell you one thing, like, we're not trading you. Then you look up on ESPN, you traded. Like, that's how they do it. And February, they traded Bobby Portis to New York. He had to find out, I think, through ESPN that he got traded to New York or something like that. And I felt like he was just mad about that. Like, they blindsided him. He wish they would have just told him so he had a heads up, and they didn't. That's how the business is working in NBA. They don't tell you anything. They just trade you without you even knowing. They can tell you, yeah, we ain't trading you, but you know at the end of the day, back in your mind, they is going to trade you. Like, you got to be ready for that. Because they feel like they already got the pieces they want there, so they just going to ship you off somewhere else. And Russell Westbrook, his case is, like, it was time for him to get out of OKC. It was time for him a new environment. Then on top of that, James Harden wanted him there. And I know he wanted to go to Houston. I know he wanted to be part of with James Harden doing up in Houston. And he had something here to get off his chest too. You know, beat his old team. Show him like y'all can't beat me, like, and give us the win. And that's what he did against OKC. Of course, Chris Paul had something to go against Houston for, because Houston, it wasn't really just Houston didn't want him there. James Harden didn't want him there. James Harden didn't get along with CP3. So, you know, he wanted to guard him. You know, he wanted to try to win that game against Houston. Because James Harden wanted to matter. James Harden felt like Chris Paul wanted to answer for him. He wanted to get Westbrook in there. Of course, he had something to get off his chest as well. Because he's like, you don't want me here. You should have told me that. At the same time, Harden, you know, you disrespect Harden, they gonna ship you out. Because Harden is the face of that franchise. So of course, CP3 had some revenge on him, even though they was playing like they lost. But at the same time, like, he had something to do towards them too, because he gonna have another shot at them. Like, they gonna have to come to OKC and play against him, because James Harden helped him get to OKC, had them trade him and get Westbrook.
And 15, you know, and he's also assumed some of the bring the ball up responsibilities just because of their point guard situation with Dennis Smith Jr. and then also Frank Ntilikina. So yeah, I'm impressed with this. I guess I'm hopeful that they're able to play hard and at least build a foundation for the future. I like Kevin Knox, Julius Randle. You know you're going to get energy and effort. So yeah, there's hope in New York for the first time in a little while. You ready?
It's also the way they won too. I mean, it's a game at home, and they come back on a 15-0 run to spur this comeback, and I think that was meaningful to them at home, because I think they were feeling it. I was talking to some folks with the Knicks this morning, and they were, you know, it was really important. They felt like the guys were kind of tight at home, had to deliver on some of the pressure that's on them from the Garden fans. And for Julius Randle to make an adjustment in the second half, and he was turning the ball over early, he made the adjustment in the second half. It was a nice win, and I think just the way that it came about, where they lose back-to-back, and then they should have had a day off, right? Usually you get a day off
That's
after that?
what I was going to say. They had to go to extreme measures for this,
Yeah.
right? So they had to... I'm
there it is.
Really for the
extreme
desk
measures.
They had to practice on a day they shouldn't have, right? And this was made a big deal of in New York. Here Coach Fizdale puts them through a practice the day after a back-to-back, which is ironically what Jim Boylan and the Bulls got in trouble for.
Yep.
So do you think that needing that to get that result is something, or do you think that he'll have to do that again, or that
I think he's going to have to do that again. And if you know Fizz the way we know him, he comes from Miami Heat culture.
Right.
I mean, like, you don't mess around. If you're not playing the way you're supposed to be playing, and especially with, you know, they have a young team here who's still learning them how to play, and they're still trying to instill a culture of discipline there. I think Fizz is in the stage of, like, we're going to set the tone early. Same way Jim Boylan was last year when he did that in Chicago. Yeah. And I thought the fact that paid off into a win was huge for them, because if they don't go on that run late, now we got 0-3 Knicks, we have a whole 0-4 Knicks, and we have a whole different story.
You're in the sunken place.
Right. no, it's not that bad today. It's not that bad.
Get a win first. Yeah.
2 tough games ahead of them on the road, so I think that it was very big that they got this now, because this could have spiraled into an 0-6 kind of situation. They did it at home, which I think is so important. That arena, nothing's like that arena. It's cooking. It's great. There are skeptics who are saying, it was against a Bulls team that can't really seem to still get its act together. I'm curious to see where both of these franchises go. Neither one, I think, is maybe bound to beat the world this year. But you just want these moments, right, where you see the young players do the things, the promise. You want the promise to come out just a little bit here and there, and there's going to be down games after this, but you need a little something. And at home, at the Garden, it was very good. Shouts to Johnny Mack. If you don't know who he is, like Bobby Portis, look him up. He's a very established tennis champion. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content,